Hello everybody, I'm the Horror Movie Guy, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you my top 10 horror villains or killers, or whatever you would want to call them. Quick warning before we get into this. This is my opinion, so if you want to put your ranking in the comment section, then just do that. There's definitely going to be a couple in here that you might want to move higher or lower, but this is just my opinion. So, at number 10, we have Death from Final Destination. Death is an interesting one because it's not really a person in it doing the killing, but there are multiple mentions of death in the Final Destination universe and how he is kind of like an entity that goes around killing all the people who survived death the first time. So number 10, we got Jack Torrance from The Shining. He has to be on this list. The Shining is such a classic movie, and it's one of my favorite horror movies. It's a very good horror, and it's great. Jack Torrance, like his whole storyline in The Shining is just great, and in my opinion, he is better than the Final Destination Death. But there are just more killers on here that I think just do a better job, in my opinion. So number 8, we have Pinhead from Hellraiser. I've only seen the first Hellraiser movie, and I really liked it, and I liked Pinhead. But again, kind of what I said for Jack Torrance, he's good, but he's not as good as like the rest. But maybe if I watch more, maybe I'll put him higher up on the list. So number 7, I have Deadites from Evil Dead. Uh, sorry about that. Sorry about the little comma or not comma. Whatever this thing's called, I forgot. I'm sorry. Parentheses. There we go. But okay, sorry. Deadites from Evil Dead. So I'm specifically talking about the Deadites from the original trilogy of Evil Dead. I've not seen the newer ones, and I don't think I will, just because I love these old ones, and I feel like I'll just end up not liking the newer one. But if it's good, just let me know in the comments, then I might watch it. But yeah, Evil Dead. I love Evil Dead. I love the original trilogy, and I think the Deadites are just interesting because they're like a zombie, but like they can talk and they can try and persuade you, and just the whole like idea of it is just really cool. So at number 6, we have Pennywise, aka the Deadlights from It. So if in the book it says like Pennywise is just the Deadlights, but like Pennywise is the form the Deadlights take. It's a kind of weird concept, but like as you can see, I don't know if I've ever said this on camera, but I did my 13 or 11 things you might have missed in It, and it was one of the first horror movies I've ever watched, and I always just really loved it. And I've always loved Pennywise, and I've always loved the movie. I just could relate to the kids, and it was just I just really like Pennywise, and that's why he's really high up on this list. So number 5, we have Chucky from Child's Play. Again, kind of what I said for Pennywise. Child's Play was one of the first horror movies I ever saw, and I just remember really enjoying it. A couple months ago, I showed my friends the first Child's Play, and they all were like, "Yeah, it was okay, it was okay." But just for me, this is definitely the original Child's Play is definitely in my top 10 like horror movies ever. And if you want me to do top 10 horror movies, in my opinion, comment below if you want that. But yeah, for sure, this is just Chucky. He's still going on too with the show, and all of his movies are great. Even Child's Play 3, but like even though that one was okay, but like it's just I love all of them. I love all the movies. So number 4, we have a nightmare or Freddy Krueger, A Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger, I just find the premise of him going into your dreams, just great. I love his one-liners and all of his kills. I think the glove is very cool, and I just think his design is really cool as well. So as we go to number 3, Scream, Billy slash Stu. I couldn't really decide, but I definitely knew it had to be the original Scream. So either Billy or Stu, they both take the number three spot. Um, the other killers are good, but like not as good as them because they're the original. So at number two, we have Michael Myers Halloween. I know, this is probably everyone's number one, but I definitely feel like there's going to be a couple or handful of people who will have the same number one as me. The reason Michael Myers isn't my number one is because the number one holds a special place in my heart because I really love the character, and it this was or the number one spot was the first horror movie I ever saw, and Halloween again. Michael Myers is a great killer. I love all his kills. I really like all of his movies except Halloween Resurrection, but we're not gonna really talk about that. But it's just he's a great killer. So moving on to my honorable mentions, we got Ginger Dead Man. Me and the horror movie Uncle have talked about this in the past, but we both really like Ginger Dead Man, and we both think that it's not gonna be like in the top 10. If I was doing a top 15, then I feel like he would be in this. Now we have puppet masters, or like all the puppets, specifically Torch. I like Torch's design. Or Blade. I like Blade. But mostly, I mean, I could probably do a list of like my top 10 specific puppet masters because there's like 30 of the puppets and there's like 30 of the movies. But yeah, definitely wouldn't make the top 10. Now we have the Leprechaun. I really like the Leprechaun, but again, not top 10 material. Sorry, buddy. And last honorable mention is Friday the 13th, Pamela Voorhees. She would probably be in my top 20, but like again, not gonna make the top 10. But like just specifically for me, I went into watching the Friday the 13th thinking that Jason Voorhees is gonna be the killer. But then when she pops up, I was like, oh, and I really like that twist, and she's a good killer. So for our number one, you can probably tell from Pamela Voorhees, it's gonna be Jason Voorhees. Like I said earlier, was Friday the 13th was one of the first horror movies I ever saw. The horror movie Uncle lent me the DVD, and I watched it in my basement with my mom. And I just ended up falling in love. And this is when I realized that I loved horror movies, and I love like watching them. And Jason Voorhees kind of started it all. Even though Pamela Voorhees was in the first one, you still know what I'm talking about. So yeah, Jason Voorhees is definitely my number one. So yeah, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell for more content similar to this. Comment if you want me to do another one of these. Maybe with movies. Or my worst or like my least favorite movies and franchises. And comment if you would move any of these higher or lower on the list. Thank you for watching and goodbye.